Welcome back. A group of individuals, local community faith, and labor organizations across the Bronx collaborated to plan for the future of the borough. That same group, called the Bronx-wide Coalition, is also planning a Bronx People's Festival. We'll now turn to a short clip about the mission of these Bronx leaders.
Every day in the Bronx, we take care of each other. We take care of family and our neighbors. We teach, learn, guide, and share with each other. We share resources through susus and parnas and sociedades. We share food and cook for each other. We take care of us. And we can create a Bronx economy that provides for our basic needs, a better life, and a deeper freedom. We hope you'll join us in transforming our Bronx.
Join the Bronx-wide Coalition in continuing our work to build power and co-create the future of the Bronx for us and by us at the Bronx People's Festival on Saturday, October 23rd, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Mary Mitchell Center, located at 2007 Mates Avenue.
Joining us for a discussion on the Bronx-wide Coalition and the festival is Director of Community Development at the Point CDC, Dariella Rodriguez, and Program Director of LAAL, Shahela Begum. Thank you both for joining us. So can you tell us who the Bronx-wide Coalition is?
Sure. Hi. So the Bronx-wide Coalition is made up of local residents as well as community, faith, and labor groups across the Bronx. We have 12 organizations in our leadership team and nearly 30 organizations in the broader coalition who have endorsed one or both of our policy platforms. The coalition came together in the fall of 2019 to co-create a federal level policy platform as an important strategy to engage both local residents and candidates running for Congress in 2020, knowing the impact of that seat that seat had on our borough. Early this year, we also created a local level platform, and our organizations engaged tens of thousands of residents through civic engagement. But we know that work does not end at the voting booth. This past spring, we launched our Bronx-wide planning process to create a long-term economic development plan for our borough, which we'll talk more about. And I'm at the Point, and just saying the Point joined this coalition and part of the leadership team because so many great people have been doing amazing, important work across the Bronx, but we're unfortunately forced to work in silos and in hyper-local campaigns. And we knew that the issues that we were working on were definitely connected, and we really needed to come together across the Bronx.
Thank you. And Shahela, can you tell us about how your organization got involved?
Yeah, Bangladeshis in the Bronx are a growing population, but we lack representation. So joining this coalition allows our community to get civically engaged while making space for us, for elected officials to listen to us.
And now, so there's so many moving parts in this. Can you tell us, how the collaboration began? And then, what made you decide personally to join?
So in a few years ago, in preparation for not just like the congressional race that was coming, but knowing that we needed to unite organizations and groups that were already doing work across the Bronx. So we started processes of visioning and coming together, building principles, and that was before the pandemic. So throughout the pandemic, we've been really shifting to having virtual programming, uniting people through virtual meetings, in our outdoor spaces, being creative as much as we can. I think Shahela could share a little bit about why LAAL joined the coalition too.
Now, I understand racial justice and economic democracy are key values and frameworks that are important to the work of the coalition. Why is that important for you, and what does that mean for the Bronx?
Yeah, we know that in order to address the challenges that we as Bronxites face, we need to be pushing for systemic change. For us, that means addressing the root of the issues and not just putting bandages on what's not working. And that systemic change for us must be grounded in racial justice and economic democracy. So for us, racial justice means putting people of color at the center, and their experiences should be uplifted. And we know that the Bronx, like so many places across the country, has been impacted by racist policies like redlining and other forms of discrimination and inequity over the decades. So we believe that those most impacted by these experiences should be centered now, and that will help create equity. All are welcome into this work, and we prioritize the experiences and voices of those most impacted historically and historically excluded. Economic democracy is important to us because in our current economy, the resources and wealth of our city are mostly controlled by a very small few. It is clear that the concentration of wealth translates into a concentration of power over our Bronx future, and we want to change that. Economic democracy means sharing ownership, power, and control over the assets and resources in our communities and working together to co-govern and make decisions collectively about what happens here.
All right, well, thank you so much for that. So now I kind of want to talk a little about something that's exciting, super exciting that's coming up. So on October 23rd, the coalition is inviting Bronxites to attend the Bronx People's Festival. Can you tell us what this event is about?
Yes, so we're very excited to talk about it. First, this event is our first opportunity for our community members across the Bronx to connect with the coalition since the pandemic, because we've been, connected remotely. We want to have fun and be interactive. It's our first in-person event because of the pandemic, and we think it's important for folks to meet each other and continue to build community across the borough. We're going to have music, free food, games, prizes. It's also a family-friendly event, and we'll have activities for kids, youth, and adults. You'll get a chance to meet not just the coalition, but the individual organizations across the Bronx who are doing work, and how you can get involved locally, and you can stay connected to our Bronx-wide work and the process. Most importantly, we really need you to come out and share your ideas. This is an opportunity to come share your ideas, your concerns, your questions, because the work that we're doing is reflective of the work that has been going on in the Bronx for decades, led by those who participate in the process along the way. So it is our goal to share space with as many people in the Bronx as we possibly can. We feel that the more people who come together to design the Bronx-wide plan, the more reflective it is of our communities and the people of the Bronx, and therefore the more successful it will be.
So can you tell us, you kind of mentioned it a little bit, but why is it important, I guess just in general, for the community to be involved in opportunities like this?
Like Shahela said earlier, currently decisions about what happens in our neighborhoods and across the city are very disconnected from each other and from the issues that we deal with daily. Those decisions happen behind the scenes or as part of processes that almost never center or prioritize the needs of tenants, students, workers, immigrants, people of color, the workers in our communities, right? So although many groups across the Bronx have gotten some big wins over the decades, we know that we can't just spend all of our time or even most of our time just fighting against the things that we don't want in our community. That means that we have to envision and plan towards and build what we do want in our community. So with our Bronx-wide planning process and our engagement during these events, like our People's Assemblies that happen in the spring and summer, and then the Bronx People's Festival that's happening now, we're coming together as one Bronx to share the amazing ideas our communities have already come up with, and also to come up with new solutions to create a holistic plan that really reflects what is most important to all of us. We're also coming together to make sure that we build community power. We need to make our vision become a reality, right? So we need to build with each other. We need to come together and unite to make this plan successful and become a reality. And we just want to say that if you really care about having a real say in shaping the future of the Bronx for yourself, for your family, for your neighbors, we just want you to connect with other Bronxites who have the same commitment and vision. And so that's why we're asking people to join us at the Bronx People's Festival. We're going to really make sure that we center joy, healing, and having fun in our spaces. And we're going to do a lot of fun, amazing, transformative work together. It's important for all of us to share with our community that it's important for us to share that all community members are welcome. Your experience living and working in the Bronx means that you know what isn't working, and therefore that means you have the best ideas on how to make things better. And so we're asking you to please join us.
So can you just tell us how can people learn more about your work and get involved?
To learn more about who we are, our work, and to access resources, you can go to our linktree/BXPower. At the Bronx People's Festival, you'll get a chance to connect with our core organizations that are based across the Bronx. Becoming a member of one of those organizations is one great way to stay connected in between our Bronx-wide engagements. And you can also check out our social media platforms for some of our core organizations. The Point's handle is @thepointCDC. LAAL's is @LAAL_NYC. And BCDI is another one of our coordination team members, and you can check them out at Bronx Future.
All right. Thank you both so much for joining us once again.
Thank you.
That's all for our show today. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Kib and Aline, wishing you and yours safety and wellness now and always. See you next time.